Hi folks, this is Sensei Rob with Kids Kicking Cancer in the Hero Circle of Boston, and I wanted to share something with you that I had not experienced before as a martial arts therapist. And a couple of different things that really were different. As we all know, we've been in COVID and virtual programming since March. And so while that in itself is new, we have been accustomed now for the past few months to coming in each Wednesday and seeing patients virtually as they're going through a series of integrative therapies. This past week, as I was gearing up and ready to see a patient, I got a text message from one of the nurses in the program and at the clinic, and said, Rob, actually we have a cancellation. One of our patients actually is in the emergency room and has to be admitted. As I learned, it was a young woman, 20 years of age, in the throes of a sickle cell pain crisis. And so certainly sorry to hear of that, and was kind of gearing up for the next patient to come in. It was going to be a little bit of time, and probably within about 15 minutes, I got another text message from the nurse practitioner who runs the clinic, and said, Robbie, can you join Zoom? And so I got on the Zoom. Camera was on. I see a patient, and I see that I'm now in the patient's room. It was this young woman who initially was in the ER and then had been brought into her room in the midst of a sickle cell pain crisis. And again, nothing that I had experienced before in that normally when we come into the clinic, we get a list or a roster of patients. We get briefed on any medical not so much history, but any medical issues that we should be aware of, any precautions, etc. And so you kind of mentally prepare, physically prepare. You come in and you greet. And in this case, that didn't happen. It was an emergency situation. The patient was admitted, and I had no idea that when the Zoom camera came on, that there I was in this young woman's room. And I think that training both as a martial artist and training as a martial arts therapist prepared me for that. And I was really glad to have the opportunity to work with her. And what happened is I came into the room and I see this young woman, a beautiful young woman, 20 years of age, but she was wrapped up. She was wearing a gown, kind of a plastic gown, kind of wrapped up. Also had a covering over her head, a cap, and I could see that she was distressed. And so I began a conversation. I could see that she was conversational and able to respond to me. And as I learned a little bit more about her, I then shared more with her about the Hero Circle program and our goal to reduce pain, redirect pain, tell pain that it's a message that we do not want to listen to. And so asked her if she would be game for trying that, and it was a resounding yes. And I think that again, the opportunity to just quickly intervene, to talk with her, to be in that inpatient setting and yet virtually, showed me what power we do have with the tools that are out there right now. And I truly began and engaged with her as I would have with any inpatient. Granted, this was a pain crisis situation, and I'll share that on that 1 to 10 scale, she said that she was an 8, and that's pretty severe. We talked about maybe getting that down to a 7 or a 6. And we used some techniques, and I certainly began with the breath break. And my voice, my tone certainly changed as we began to breathe in that light and blow out that darkness. And as we progressed through that, I talked to her about circular breathing and the body scan, and basically using imagery images to direct that cool air to those areas where we are feeling the pain the most. She did really, really well with that. And we progressed, we proceeded. We did not get into any other techniques or, punch techniques or kicking, but I explained to her first and foremost that she is a powerful martial artist. And I let her know that with any opponents that I or we have ever faced as martial artists, pain that we might experience pales in comparison to the opponent that she is facing at that time, her pain, and that we were going to work together to get through that. And I so appreciated how she joined right in, was game for doing that work, and the result I certainly feel was successful. I think what touched me so much was being able to relate to her that she was or is a powerful martial artist. She understood that. I think she really appreciated that. And towards the end, as we concluded with another breath break, we actually did the bow in, and her hand went right up as we did power, peace, and purpose. It was something really special, but also something that I had never experienced before, just being thrust into the hospital room by means of a Zoom meeting. And so I'm glad to share this experience with you. I suspect that there could be other episodes like this, other scenes, and I'm glad to talk to the team and others about how we work through these kinds of circumstances using the virtual tools that we now have. Well, thanks so much for listening to me, and I'll conclude this by also saying power, peace, and purpose. Thanks so much.